Confidence is one of the most misunderstood traits. Most people think it's something you either have or you don't. They see confident individuals and assume they were just born that way. Naturally outgoing, naturally fearless, naturally certain. But that's not how confidence actually works. Confidence is not a personality trait. It's a psychological pattern, a pattern built through behavior, repetition, and self-perception. And here's the part most people don't realize. Confidence does not come before action. It comes after. But most people wait. They wait until they feel ready, until they feel capable, until they feel confident enough to act. And that's exactly why they stay stuck. Because the feeling they're waiting for is created by the action they're avoiding. 1. Confidence is built through evidence. Your brain does not create confidence randomly. It builds it based on proof. Every time you do something, your mind records it, successes, failures, attempts. And over time, it forms a belief. This is who I am. If you consistently avoid challenges, your brain gathers evidence that you are someone who avoids. If you hesitate, it records hesitation. If you stay silent, it records passivity. And eventually, that becomes your identity. I'm not confident. I'm not good at this. I'm not that type of person. But here's the key. Your brain doesn't care if the evidence is small. It just cares that it exists, which means even small actions can start shifting your identity. Speaking once, trying once, showing up once. It's not about perfection. It's about proof. And that's where fake it till you make it actually comes in. You're not pretending to be confident. You're acting in a way that creates evidence of confidence. And over time, that evidence becomes belief. 2. Your brain responds to behavior, not intentions. Most people believe confidence starts internally, with thoughts, mindset, affirmations. But your brain is more influenced by what you do than what you say. You can tell yourself, I'm confident, 100 times. But if your actions don't reflect that, your brain won't believe it. Because behavior is more convincing than words. This is why confident body language matters. Eye contact, posture, tone of voice. Not because it looks good, but because it sends signals back to your brain. When you act confidently, your brain interprets that as, I must be confident, and it starts adjusting your internal state to match your external behavior. This is called behavioral feedback. You act first, then your mind follows, but most people reverse it. They try to feel confident first, and when they don't act, which keeps them stuck. The shift is simple. Act like the person you're trying to become before you fully feel like them, because your brain will catch up. 3. Confidence comes from repetition, not talent. People often confuse confidence with ability. They think, I'll be confident when I'm good enough. But that's backwards. You become confident by doing something repeatedly, not by mastering it instantly. The first time you try anything, you will feel uncertain. That's normal, because your brain is dealing with unfamiliar territory. But every repetition reduces uncertainty. What was once uncomfortable becomes familiar, and familiarity creates confidence. This is why someone can be average at something, but still appear confident, because they've done it enough times to remove hesitation, while someone else may be more capable, but less confident, because they lack repetition. Confidence is not about being the best, it's about being familiar, and familiarity is built through exposure. The more you face something, the less intimidating it becomes. 4. Fear and confidence can coexist. One of the biggest myths about confidence is that confident people don't feel fear. They do. The difference is, they don't let fear stop them. Most people interpret fear as a signal to stop. If I feel nervous, it means I'm not ready. But that interpretation is wrong. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal that something matters, that you're stepping outside your comfort zone. Confident people understand this. So instead of avoiding fear, they move through it. They feel the discomfort and act anyway. Over time, this rewires their response. Fear no longer controls behavior. It becomes background noise. But if you constantly avoid fear, you reinforce it. Your brain learns, this is dangerous, avoid it. And that avoidance strengthens insecurity. So the goal is not to eliminate fear, it's to act despite it. Because every time you do, you weaken its influence and strengthen your confidence. 5. Identity is the root of confidence. At the deepest level, confidence is about identity. How do you see yourself? Because your actions will always align with your self-image. If you see yourself as someone shy, you will act shy. If you see yourself as someone who lacks confidence, you will hesitate. Even if you try to act differently, your mind will pull you back to what feels familiar. This is why temporary confidence doesn't last. You might feel confident in certain moments, but if your identity hasn't changed, you will revert. So real confidence requires an identity shift, and identity shifts through repetition. Every time you act in a new way, you create a crack in your old identity. And if you repeat it enough, that crack becomes a break, until eventually your self-image updates. You no longer see yourself as trying to be confident. You see yourself as someone who is. And at that point, confidence becomes natural, not forced. The truth about fake it till you make it. Most people misunderstand this concept. They think it means pretending, acting like something you're not. But that's not the point. It's about acting ahead of your current identity, closing the gap between who you are now and who you want to become. Because if you wait to feel ready, you will never start. And if you never start, you will never change. So you act first, even if it feels unnatural, even if it feels uncomfortable, because that discomfort is part of the process. You are stepping into a new version of yourself, and that always feels unfamiliar at first. Why most people never become confident? Not because they can't, but because they don't sustain the process. They try once, feel uncomfortable, stop. They interpret discomfort as failure instead of recognizing it as growth, so they retreat, back to what feels safe. And over time, that reinforces their lack of confidence, because they never gather enough evidence to change their belief. Confidence requires consistency, not intensity. Small actions, repeated over time. That's what builds identity. That's what builds certainty. The shift: stop waiting to feel confident. Stop trying to fix it internally first, and start acting. Speak, even if your voice shakes. Try, even if you feel unprepared. Show up, even if you feel unsure. Because every action sends a message to your brain. This is who I am becoming. And if you repeat that message enough, your mind will believe it. Final realization. You don't become confident by thinking differently. You become confident by behaving differently. First, it feels forced. Then it feels familiar. Then it becomes you. That's the process. So yes, fake it. Not to deceive others, but to train yourself until one day you're not faking it anymore.